Hello Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. I'm happy to have you all out there. As always, please come into this tarot reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to maybe learn something or better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, that's completely fine. Sometimes that does happen. Please do push them aside. Assume they're going out to someone else who needs to hear them or see them. Do trust your own intuition above all else, because ultimately you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's get two more cards for Cancer here. This top one wants to come. All right, and let's go ahead and set the intention here and now to get my Cancers watching out there. So my Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus gang. Let's get them some clear, helpful, and insightful messages for wherever they are currently at on their spiritual path. All right, y'all, let's do it. So, right smack in the middle of your spread, you have the Six of Blades, the Six of Swords. This is ultimately about progress and forward movement, but you seem to hit a roadblock. It's almost like things were actually starting to pick up and move swiftly, and you're like, oh shit, there's like a hole in my boat. It's like there's water seeping in. Now what do I do? So this very much speaks to me like that frustration we're having in Aries energy of wanting to move ahead, but because it's eclipse season, like we're having to sort of like, for some of you, quite literally pay your taxes, but like pay the tax man a little bit too, where it's like you can only get so far ahead before something is taken out or taken back. And that's not a message that I'm sharing, to discourage you. It's just, there's something about this Six of Swords where it's like, I thought I was in the clear and here we go and I'm so excited. And you're like, like kick rocks. You know what I mean? Like there's something that you're a little bit bummed about. So you're coming from a place of Five of Coins. So it could have been that you thought you found a solution to financial issues and then you get like a new bill. Or it doesn't have to be finances, but frequently with the Five of Coins, it has to do with our money and a lack thereof. Or it has to do with our body. It could be something with, frustration with illness or allergies or something where, you're wanting to train for the marathon, but, your knee is still recuperating. Like it could be something with physically your body. It can also have to do, and this is a little bit harder to grasp, I think, even to explain it, but because it's Pentacles, sometimes it does have to do with like our self-worth and our worthiness and what we think we deserve in life. And I mean, I think a lot of times it's like, yeah, of course I deserve happiness. Of course I deserve this. And yet, if we really look at the Five of Pentacles, a lot of times it does kind of highlight ways where we actually sabotage our own success. Or, I don't know, I'm almost getting for you, Cancer, like this all or nothing mentality, having trouble taking it in stride or having trouble with, I'm hearing like small pieces or small doses, taking off a bite at a time. It could be that you're ready to go and it's all or nothing. And then when you hit the first major setback, you're just like, oh, I may as well give up. Excuse me. I'm not saying all of you are doing that, but I'm just giving you some examples of what might be going on here, because once we become aware of it and how we're participating in this narrative, we have the power to choose it, right? We have to own it, but we have to be like self-aware in order to make those changes. So anyway, for a lot of you though, my gut reaction to this is, for a lot of you, it's financial. Or maybe dealing with someone in your life who is experiencing illness, or if it's not illness, it could be just requiring extra care and time and attention. Maybe your kid is going through a difficult period or something like that. Maybe you're helping a parent with something. Maybe you're helping someone, helping someone move. But it seems to be really taxing on you though. Like you seem to be stretched very thin. And at what point are you overgiving where you're not nourishing your own body, right? So the ultimate goal of this is to, I love how happy he is. Look how happy that card is. The Six of Swords, so the Six of Sticks, which is the Six of Wands, which is like the ultimate goal either for you or what the universe wants you to get out of this is a win. It's a victory. The Six of Wands is a very strong card. It's Leo energy, it's fire energy, so it's feeling reinvigorated and re-empowered after what feels like sort of like getting sidetracked or more like getting sidelined. It's like wanting to achieve a goal, but I keep getting this metaphor of like you gotta pay what's due. So it's like you think you're steaming ahead and then there's like, I don't know, it's like an unexpected bill or an unexpected, oh yeah, actually we need you to work this extra shift, or that vacation we promised you, we actually need you. Like it's something where you're like, woohoo, this is awesome, and then you're like, F, you know what I mean? Like I'm wanting to use bad words. I'm trying to be better about that. But ultimately though, you do have two cards of progress. So whatever you're experiencing now, I know you are not feeling this way, but I want to really underscore this is a minor setback, Cancer. So like exhale. And I know you're not seeing it like that. I'm not just telling you what you want to hear. But like ultimately, if the past you're coming from 5 of coins, you already have made progress on whatever the situation is. Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, romantically. I don't know what it is, but the universe is saying like, you've already come like, sorry, I want to rephrase that. It's like, for some of you, it's like the hardest part is over. We just have to finish it up. We just have to wrap it up a little bit. And so for a lot of you, maybe this has to do with the Mercury retrograde, especially with like that sword energy, the facts, the information, the data, the details, the technology, the communications, the conversations, the studying, the writing, the publishing, whatever it is, kind of like those Mercury ruled things. It could even be something medical, right? Mercury is very much associated with health and medical stuff, right? We're not quite done with the work. We still have to revisit something. We still have to revise it. We have to go back and edit it or change it or do it differently before we start some new big undertaking. You are going to receive credit or acclaim or praise, or you're going to feel accomplished. You're going to feel good about yourself. There's going to be, some sort of acknowledgement, even if it just comes from yourself of like, hey, I actually did a really good job. I think for a lot of you, this is choosing to deal with adversity or hardship in a different way than you have previously, not sinking into like, well, I may as well quit. My life is over. Nothing good ever comes to me. This is a minor setback. It's like, okay, so, you got a hole in your boat, or however you want to say it, right? Water's seeping in. So what are we going to do? We're just going to sit there and watch the water sink our boat? Of course we're not. We're going to be solution oriented as much as we can, right? And I will say, obviously this boat metaphor isn't for everybody, but it's like, for a lot of you, you've been through this exact situation or something similar. And how did you deal with it in the past? And specifically, how did you deal with it in a way that actually didn't serve you too well? However, because of the way you reacted the first time, you learned something in the process. So now it's like you've worked that muscle. You flexed that muscle out so you can use it in a different way. It's stronger this time. So you have a different ability or a stronger capacity to work through this in a new way that for Cancer, practicing emotional intelligence is important anyway, but it's almost like you have more information now. This is not your first rodeo. Like, you've been through this before, or again, something similar where you're able to lean on or rely on the information that you now have that's actually going to make this smoother sailing this time around. And like, it's a victory. It's all going to work out. Like, I've been saying this a lot recently in the videos and just in life, because I think it's important. It's like, this isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. There's a reason behind this, a greater reason behind this, why the universe thinks you're going to be able to deal with it, and ultimately how it is going to serve you. And I know that's hard to put in context when you're right in the thick of it, right? When you're in the middle of like a shitstorm, that's the last thing you want to hear is, oh, this is all for my highest good. But ultimately, again, it's like your perspective or your perception. It's like, okay, so we can do the glass half empty thing, but that's really not going to get us anywhere. So I think I said this to Aries too. There's something about maybe you do need to wear the rose-tinted glasses for a bit. And I understand that has a negative connotation, generally speaking, when we talk about rose-tinted glasses. It's like sort of toxic positivity. But in this case scenario, we're in a situation where the only way forward is through it. And so we may as well enjoy the experience. We may as well maybe put a spin on the narrative or on the story to, encourage ourselves to experience it in a different way. And I guess just leaning on your faith, but also leaning on the fact that Spirit, God, universe, they're never going to give you anything that they don't think you can handle. So know that it's like you've been chosen. And for a lot of you, this even speaks to me about kind of like the stuff happening with the eclipse and Chiron. Chiron is like our wounded warrior. It's like that part of ourselves that it feels like we're never quite going to fix it. But through sort of the pain and the experiences we go through, we operate differently in the world. And it's almost our superpower of how we can heal and interact with other people that is very beneficial to others. And we don't always see how it's beneficial to ourselves, but the whole point or narrative of Chiron is, well, that doesn't really matter. There's something a little bit self-sacrificial, but there's also something a little bit magical, and again, like superpowers about that. So it's like the inner warrior, the wounded warrior. There's a light being shown on that or shed on that for literally every zodiac sign, and I have a feeling that has something to do with you and what you're experiencing right now. Feeling like you got like the unlucky lot in life. Again, rose-tinted glasses. I think that may actually be sort of beneficial to you in order to work through that, and we haven't even gotten through most of the tarot cards yet. So what you're thinking, enlightenment, you want to be freed from this. If this does involve going back to the past, you need you're like, I need absolute closure and clarity on what's going on here. The thing is, I think you actually have that available to you more than you realize. I think you're all the more smarter for what you've already been through that really did put you through the ringer. Like, you're coming from a place where you really had to lean into your inner strength. And for some of you, it felt like you had to go at it alone. Like, you thought you had partnership or you thought you had someone supporting you. And, you know, whether it was through anyone's fault or not, it's not really significant. It's ultimately saying you kind of had to rely on yourself, Cancer. And you went through something that was very major, very impactful, and really stuck with you. So make sure you're still like healing the wounds or the trauma associated with that. But yeah, make no mistake about it, something has made you smarter and stronger. And I think Cancers are very tenacious anyway, but yeah, that word tenacity, I love that for Cancer. It's like your little crabby pincers. It's like you don't let go of things easily. So lean into the not letting go of something that you really want and desire in your life. Like, you will achieve it, you will obtain it, but it might take some patience and some rerouting or needing to revisit something from your past, a conversation maybe, in order to eventually get to the step where you're like, okay, I made it. Like, I'm literally seeing someone like kissing the ground after like a long journey. You know, it's like when you go through, I don't know, airplane turbulence and you have that fear of like, oh my God, and then you finally land and you're like, oh, thank God. That's what this feels like, only there's a little bit more celebration to it. So what are you feeling? The Fool. Interesting. So this is actually a very happy card. I'm wanting to look at this. Hold on. Give me 1 second, please. You want a new start, or to revisit a conversation and shed new light on it. It's almost like you want to hit reset. Yeah, so there's someone in your life that you're looking to either reconnect with or have a conversation with. Again, it could be a boss, it could be, whatever. It could be romantic as well too. You may have feelings for an Aquarius or maybe even a Virgo. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is a little bit. Maybe even a Gemini. Yeah, it's like wanting to revisit. Some of you may even want to make an apology to someone. But you're not doing it in a way that has a lot of guilt or shame attached to it. It's almost like you're just wanting to make things right so that you can both feel okay and move on and continue to collaborate or work together. I do think there was like trouble in some sort of connection that you had or some sort of collaboration. And yeah, this is very interesting for some of you. I don't know if this will resonate for everyone, but it's almost like this idea of I had to do it alone, and you did make strides. You did make some sort of accomplishment, but it's almost like the missing piece to the puzzle is actually going back to some sort of collaboration, but there's new energy. It's like new life is being breathed into it, and so there could be some sort of positive help or solution from some narrative or character that has to do with your past. And maybe it's your recent past. I don't know. The healing power of music wants to be known here. I don't know why that's important, Cancer, but yeah, all Cancers love music. You're a water sign, I assume, right? Music is very healing for you right now. So I don't know whether that's through meditation or just hanging out, listening to tunes or going to a concert. Do it. Get the tickets. Go listen to the music. That feels symbolic too. I'm not even sure what I said there, but that felt like it had importance to it. Go listen to the music. All right, what is the current help available to you? The Nine of Blades. Okay, so that's an interesting card to get in the help section because it's a tricky energy, isn't it? The Nine of Blades, it's like anxiety, sleepless nights. So for some of you, I'm going to say recognizing that the solution maybe isn't completely in your control. That's going to frustrate you at first, but then you're going to realize there's a way to liberate yourself with enlightenment from it's sort of like this 0 F's left to give, because at some point you have to realize you're collaborating with the universe or a higher power here. So you can only show up and do your best. And in some ways, it's like, I just got to let the chips fall where they will. I can't force this or control it. It's like, I'm in this chapter, like, I'm in this boat. I'm in the middle of the ocean. I'm in the middle of the lake, and I realize I have a hole. So it's like, what do I do to plug up this hole? Or, do I have smoke signals? Do I have fireworks? Like, I'm in a situation, and for the most part, it's kind of like just you. But it's like, I have to be solution oriented, but like, this is happening. So I can, bang my head up against a wall asking why and why me, and it's not fair. Or you can just sort of react in a positive way. Again, lean into your strengths of knowledge and what you already know about the situation. Because again, this is not your first rodeo. You've dealt with something like this where, like, through hardship and adversity, it's like we build up our strength, we build up our artillery. It's like, you can do this. The universe is testing you. And it's like, you're either going to show up or you're not. But I know you, and like, you are. The Six of Swords is like, there is progress here, but yeah, it's like something got sidelined or sidetracked. Anyway. That being said, I know this like whole boat metaphor is ridiculous. It's like, there's water seeping in. What do we do? That's a metaphor, obviously. But I also think that's super important too, because it's like, what are we actually fearing here? Are we fearing water? Because we're a water sign. Like, maybe rather than going the practical route, well, what seems to be the practical route of, I gotta, plug up the hole in my boat and this and that. It's like, or I could just swim. Like, I'm a freaking water sign. Like, this is my natural element. So again, stick with me, guys. Metaphors. There's something about what we're fearing ahead where it's like, I could actually be really good at this. Or maybe I've been chosen for a reason, because even though it scares me, maybe this is something I'm supposed to go through for whatever that water is, the spiritual lesson, the, creative involvement, the spiritual connection, the emotional healing, like whatever it is, it's almost like maybe the solution is to jump into the water. Maybe with this Fool energy too, no less, maybe there is something about taking a leap of faith where it's like, you know what? The universe is going to catch me. Like, I've been given this opportunity, not challenge. We're, rose tinted glasses. This isn't a challenge. This is an opportunity for me to learn something about myself and lean into my inner strength and move forward with something that scares the living daylights out of me. But ultimately, will it be worth it? Yeah. Look at this card. Like, I almost see this little guy nodding his head like, yeah, you can do this, Cancer. You can do it. All right. So recognizing what is not in your control and releasing it, there's going to be freedom there. But I also think for some of you, it's like, at some point, it's like staying stuck in indecision and not moving ultimately is a decision. But I'm telling you this, it's not the decision that's serving you. At some point, again, you have to give it to the universe. You have to throw your hands up and keep living your life and participating and showing up for yourself. Knowing that like the other things, the external things, they are going to work itself out. But I almost think that this is like trying to come up with some new solution where it's just not coming. And so by staying in this state of like frantic anxiety or panic, that's not the way to do it. You kind of just have to jump. You have to take a leap of faith here. What's so interesting is the cards that are coming up as beneficial to you are typically cards in tarot that we associate with like kind of challenging energies. So like whatever challenge you're facing, it's serving you. And like, again, I don't know the context of what this is. You do. If you're still in this reading and you're resonating with it in some capacity, the challenges that you have been through, the mental challenges, the emotional challenges, the things that weigh heavy on your head and your heart, those are what essentially is guiding how you navigate the rest of this journey. Because for some of you, it's like, I don't want to repeat the mistakes I've made in the past. Like, I've come a long way to heal from this or to soothe or comfort or cleanse some area of my life. And it's been a major impactful lesson that I've had to learn the hard way. But something about that is serving you in how you move forward. Maybe this has to do with a relationship, Cancer. I don't know. But if the Five of Cups is helping you, it's not crying over spilt milk. I think it's like this zoom out perspective that maybe we lost a little. Maybe we had to go through some sort of important heartbreak in order to gain, honestly, it feels like self-respect, in order to realize that we actually deserve something much better. Maybe what we quote unquote lost isn't actually lost. It's either being changed and transformed in a new way so that you can revisit it and breathe new life into it. or it's saying that was never meant to be yours. So this, sacrifice of having to give something up or leave it behind, maybe you're actually not sacrificing anything. I also think it's interesting in this Six of Swords, the Six of Blades, it's like it's a future card. It's like the progress we've made moving forward. And here it's looking back, isn't it? It's looking back to the past. It's nostalgic, it's sentimental, but what are we being nostalgic and sentimental of? And are we not seeing that, like, just around the corner in the future, even though we can't see it, there's actually a better connection. It's something more soothing. It's more delicious. It's more healing. Like there's something about needing to maybe revisit something from the past once and for all so we can finally cut ties with it and move on. That's definitely coming through for some of you. Others of you, it's like this lack mentality of thinking things are never going to get as good as they used to be. And I mean, it's literally lack mentality. I don't know what else to tell you about that. The nine of blades leads to the 10. The 10 is about sort of this information that can no longer be denied or refused or resisted. It's sort of this embracing of information and changes and stories and narratives happening around us where, it's Sun in Gemini. It's changed us as a person to learn this new thing or to acquire this new information that, because it's a 10, it's been a long time coming, but sort of finally acknowledging it. It's almost like it's a bitter pill to swallow because it changes who we are as a person. And therefore we have to act on this information in a new way, or we have to step up to the plate, step up to the challenge or the opportunity. See what I did there? In a new way. But it's almost like when you bring new energy to it, a changed perspective, you're actually going to get different results because you in the process have changed too as a person. So it's not the same energy. It's not the two people or you in the situation meeting in the same way you did once before. It's gone through like a death and a rebirth, especially with enlightenment, right? That's judgment. And sort of, again, like that upcoming 10 of Swords, 10 of Blades, it's like a whole new world. There's something we've graduated from. This feels very much like School of the Hard Knocks. Like, you definitely, Cancer, oh my gosh, had to learn something the hard way. Only, like, you already have. Like, it's getting better. It's getting easier. And I think some of you are failing to recognize that because you're getting triggered from some sort of disappointment thinking it's going to result in the way things have always gone or whatever it is. And yeah, the universe is like, no, they're not seeing it right. You're too focused on past disappointments. So what is your action or advice card? Justice. Possibly something with a very important conversation that resets the scales and brings things back into harmony. It might involve a Libra. It doesn't have to. It could have to do with renegotiation of contracts, revisiting conversations that maybe have to do with your money, talking with a financial advisor, seeking financial aid, financial counseling. Something to do with finances is coming through here for a lot of my Cancerians. But justice ultimately, again, is a card of harmony and balance. So your action or advice, because this is not helping you, your best what do you say? Your best offense is a good defense. I don't know why that's coming through. But no, like the best tool you can have right now is practicing good internal balance. And that can be extremely challenging for Cancers, right? You are a sign literally squared by Libra stuff. And so it's not that you can't achieve those like Libra qualities, is that it's more that it's an opportunity you have to work at in order to, again, strengthen that muscle. You have to work it out a little bit to be able to achieve that internal balance, right? And some of you already have, but it's saying you're not doing it currently. So remember, you have to remain internally balanced. And also having conversations that are, this is a weird way of phrasing it, but that are considerate. You can't do all the talking right now. You also have to be a good listener. And that's very much eclipse season of like the Aries and the Libra, the self versus the other. We need to do both. We need to blend both. Your words are going to, bear with me, I know this sounds dumb. Your words are going to speak volumes, obviously, but you don't need to lace it with like the emotional impact that you think you do. You don't need to cry tears to make your point known. You don't need to use sort of this forceful, aggressive energy or the emotional manipulation to get your point across or to get the results you want. You just have to be honest. You just have to be truthful and honest of what you're needing and what you're wanting, what you're hoping to get from this. And then again, the other person or the other energy, if this is a job or whatever, they're either going to meet you halfway or they're not, but either way, you're going to learn who you're going to be able to collaborate with moving forward. The Nine of Coins. All right, so I like that. You always get this card, don't you, Cancer? I feel like I've described the Nine of Coins more than any other card in tarot, not just for Cancer, but for everybody. I think it's because in general, what we lack as a collective is valuing ourselves, or else the Nine of Coins wouldn't come up as much as it does. That being said, maybe this is particularly important for you because, Cancer risings, 10th house Aries, for again, a majority of you, not all of you. It's very independent energy. It is about, it has an entrepreneurial spirit, whether you yourself are an entrepreneur or not. There's something about, I make my way through the world, and it's very independent. It can be very separating, but what may be holding you back is, I don't know, fear of collaboration or fear of being held back. That wants to come through for some of you, but also maybe the fear of doing it yourself, almost like a more codependent or needing that person beside you to do it, when, again, there was a reason why you separated here, and whatever that means to you. There's something here about needing to go at it alone for a bit. Because I think that's when we're most connected to source and spirit. It's like in that period of solitude, there was something very beneficial and valuable for you to be gained here. And maybe coming out of sort of what you perceived as like dark night of the soul, right? Maybe what's in alignment for you is actually a very strong collaboration or partnership, but now it's like you're second guessing everything because of the way something went in the past. Ultimately, whatever this Justice card represents to you, again, the negotiations, the financial agreements, the contracts, the truthful and honest discussion, right? The internal balance. It's also reminding you to remember your value and your worth and what you bring to the table. And that as much as you may look back in your past and very much recognize the areas where things didn't meet your expectations, the Nine of Coins also says, yeah, but think of all the things that did go right. Maybe that's what you need to lean into, because I don't know, for some of you, it's like you need to practice better gratitude. You may be manifesting from a place of lack or from a place of disappointment, and like, no offense, but it's like that's why you keep getting those results, is you're not necessarily grateful and in recognition of all the good things that have gone your way, all the support systems that you do have, because they are there. You just might be in a period right now where you feel isolated or alone, or maybe you've written that narrative yourself. Maybe you feel like you have to do something alone, and I don't know, I guess I'm just posing the question, do you? Maybe you do. I mean, again, there's something of value to be learned from that, but you seem to be going from a place of darkness and isolation to a place of warmth and collaboration. But there is something about being a little bit more independent, though. So if this does have to do with romance, you may be engaging in a romantic partnership in a new way, Cancer, where there's healthier boundaries, and it's okay having your own life. There isn't like, I need to be with you 24/7. And I'm not saying all of you are doing that, but it's like, let's collaborate, but also have our own independent lives. Maybe you are an entrepreneur, but maybe you also participate in some sort of dynamic where maybe you do have like a part-time job, or maybe like it's both. There's something about collaboration with a strong sense of independence and also self-worth, not giving yourself away to other people or situations. There's a solution closer than you realize. There's a conversation coming in that is actually going to be quite healing and cathartic, but you might be fearing it. You don't need to. Don't lean into fear. Never operate out of fear. It doesn't serve us. It keeps us in a false sense of safety and security. But yeah, fear doesn't allow us to grow, and that's like what we're meant to do. So this says connect. You're being asked to connect with others in a meaningful way. Sometimes it's helpful to get new perspectives and to simply be around other people. You're in need of this right now, and deep connections will benefit you in many ways. So don't isolate. Don't isolate. That's not needed anymore. All right, Cancers, that's what I got for you. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Please remember to like the video, subscribe if you're not already, hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I post in the future. And if you want more content from me, I am on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.